This morning we're going to do some advanced sets, and the advanced sets are going to have to do with maybe you have a flaw in your mechanics, or do you? How do you know if you have a flaw or not, or is it just the behavior of the dice on the particular surface you're throwing on? Let me explain it. You know, I like to start with the hard way set. We're going to use the big dice this morning because it's easier to see. You're throwing the dice and you're on a surface of the table, and your dice seem to be doing this, or your dice seem to be doing this. Now, is it your mechanics? Is it the way you're gripping? Is it the way you're releasing the dice? Or is it the behavior of your dice on that particular surface in the casino table? Let me give you a for instance. Hard way set. You set a point. Now all of a sudden your dice are doing this and you're 7-ing out. It's very frustrating. We were out a couple weeks ago, and I was using my ice tong grip, and my dice were I was using the Aces Kissing, and my dice were doing exactly this, or exactly this. So I thought, what set should I use for the behavior of the dice on this surface to get paying numbers as opposed to crap numbers? What I simply did, instead of Aces Kissing, like so, go back to the hard way set. I have the 5s kissing. Rotate the one die up, so now you have 4s and 10s on primary faces. Now you're doing a couple of things. Your dice are doing this, you're getting hard 10s. Your dice are doing this, you're getting hard 4s. Now you're getting paying numbers. Now your dice are double pitching, you're getting all outside numbers. 5s and 9s. So as you can see, it's really important to know what your dice are doing on that particular surface. And if you can figure it out soon enough, you can actually make money on a toss when your dice are both going off axis. Instead of getting that, you're going to get a paying number. And I love 4s and 10s because of the way they pay. Let's talk about another set, an advanced set. Cross sixes, looking at the 5-4. You would be looking at the 5-4, or you could be looking at the 3 deuce. It doesn't matter. If your dice are behaving the same way, instead of going like this, they're going like this, you're going to get 6s and 8s. There's your 6, there's your 8. A month ago at Wynn's Casino, from stick right, my dice were consistently doing this. So I changed to the cross sixes, and I was consistently getting 6s and 8s. It really had nothing to do with my grip or my release or my toss. It had everything to do with the table surface. And speaking of Wynn's Casino, I've since figured out that my primary position is stick right, except for at Wynn's Casino. I cannot shoot from stick right at Wynn's Casino. I have to shoot from stick left. And the arc of the dice is underneath the table rail. And that's the reaction I'm getting, the behavior of the dice on that particular surface. And now I'm doing really well at Wynn's Casino shooting from stick left. So I just changed positions because the behavior was much better. Okay, let's say you want to set for the Hilton tournament. Everybody likes to get into the Hilton tournament. This is one of the sets you can use. 5, 6, 6, 5 on axis. You've got craps and 11. So if you throw these dice, and you know the rules, if you come out with an 11, you get into the tournament. But there's also on a primary face an ace deuce. My recommendation would be not only bet $5 on the 11, the yo, bet it on the ace deuce as well. It pays exactly the same. You've probably read our articles up now, current articles on how we got into the last tournament. And my wife, Beth, and Pat, Pablo's wife, we all went to the Hilton to throw an 11. And nobody could do it. Well, Pat threw a bunch of 11s during the point cycle, which didn't help us any, but Beth switched to the 3V, just like this. And on the next time around, she threw an 11, but here's what the dice did. They were on the same axis, but they did this. And that's okay. Boom, she got the 11, she got us in the tournament, everybody was happy. So, it boils down to, maybe it's not your grip, and maybe it's not your toss, but the behavior of your dice on the particular surface that you're throwing on. So you need to be able to judge what the dice are doing, what set you're using, what numbers you're receiving, as opposed to what you should be getting. And then when you figure that out, you can change your betting strategy and you can start winning instead of losing. So these are some of the new sets that we're coming up with, and I want to show you another one that I use a lot too. You know the 2V, where you have 4s and 10s around on primary faces. But I like to do this one too, when I take the 2V, looking at 4s, 10s, 5s, and 9s. I love to have the 6-3 on top. Good for all outside numbers. You got 4, 5, 9, and 10. Say you double pitch, there's a 10. Double pitch, there's the 4. You've got the 4s and 10s on primary faces, as well as the 5s and 9s. You can make some extra money by maybe betting numbers you don't normally bet, because I know a lot of you just bet 6s and 8s. If you're throwing 5s, 9s, 4s, and 10s, hey, it doesn't make sense not to bet them. So try some of these new sets that we're coming up with. Let us know how you're doing. First of all, check out your grip, your mechanics, and if it isn't your grip and your mechanics, it's probably the surface of the table. So look at the behavior of the dice and change your set accordingly. Thank you. Give us an email. Tell us how you're doing.